All right, folks, I've been listening to what you're saying. I'll take the Pinto Racing. That's what I'm going to use for all my road racing and my rally racing shenanigans that are going to be happening here in the next couple of weeks. You've been saying, Austin, leave your 1979 AMX alone, and I tend to agree with you. That makes a lot of sense. My AMX is a great car. It's a ton of fun. I've taken it on power tours. It's gone all over the place. It's been a lot of places. It's done a lot of things. I have technically rally raced it before, and it was absolutely abusive on the vehicle, and it probably would be dumb for me to beat the crap out of that car on something that I actually want to go enjoy on the street when I have a perfectly good race car right here. Now, this is the Ford Pinto Race Car that I bought from Junkyard Digs a number of months ago. The initial plan here was to just take this car and take it directly to the track and go do some shenanigans, have some fun, do some track days. That didn't quite pan out. There were a lot more issues that I needed to resolve with the car. There's a bunch of upgrades that I need to do to be able to get it ready to go. And quite honestly, we just didn't have time to get it done. So it is more or less languished here as it sits for a couple of months now. But with racing season just ahead, it's time for me to really start focusing on this and getting some things moved forward. But I don't have anything really like emotionally invested in this car, so if I'm going to go out and beat on something and slide it around in the dirt, probably would be smart to use the car that's actually built as a race car. This is actually previously, in its previous life, a roundy-round dirt track car. It was built to turn left up in northern Illinois, and then the guys at Treadwear bought it a number of years back, and these guys converted it from just turning left and sliding around on dirt to being ready to rock and roll around a racetrack. They have championed this thing around Barber Motorsports Park. You can see the lemon sticker there on the roof. A number of times over a bunch of different years, and they've had a whole lot of guest drivers. As I mentioned, Kevin from Junkyard Digs, you can see his sticker that's on there. Treadwear guys that have been on there. Cars and Camera, Isaac was there with these guys. He raced it once before. Nolan of Donut Media, he's raced this thing before. And a whole bunch of other folks have had a great time in this car. But as you can see, it's set up for a road race. It's set up to be low on the ground and not being sliding around on the dirt. However, that's pretty easy to fix. This is on a 4-inch drop block in the rear, as well as a, I believe, cut spring in the front. As you can see, it doesn't have a whole lot of fender clearance. So we are going to change that ride stance anyway for a road course. It needs to come up just a wee bit. So while I'm going to be changing suspension, why don't I just make two different suspension setups? One for road course and one for rally course. Rally racing, if I lift it 4 inches off the back, would give me pretty good clearance in the rear. Springs in the front, a brand new set of good springs, or maybe even slightly taller springs, would give me enough clearance in the front, and then I could slide this thing around in the dirt without having to ruin the car and or my actual nice car. So I think that's the plan. I'm going to end up with two different suspension setups, two different sets of wheels and tires, one for running around in the dirt, one for running around on track, and that's what I'm going to do. And again, it's a Ford Pinto, so it's not like it's a super valuable vehicle that a lot of people are interested in or that would be super upset with if I damaged. My AMX, I think most of the AMC community would probably skin me alive if I were to damage that car and take it out of rotation. So I've got a lot of big plans with that car. It's got an engine swap that's going to be coming in the near future, and I think I just need to keep that thing focused on what it does best, which is going around and having a good time and being a cruiser, being a highway car, doing power tour and that kind of stuff in it, using it as my daily driver muscle car, and let this thing do all the race car stuff. Now, this car has a ton of stickers on it, right? We've got all kinds of stickers from all kinds of different people. And the livery is the original livery, as far as I know, at least from a long, long ways back. This is the original livery to the car. It's been like this for a long, long time. But these stickers are not, as far as I know, anybody that's connected to the car. At least nobody that's given me money to be able to race it. And part of going racing is sponsorship, helping, advertise people's products or advertise whatever on your race car while you're going racing, and it helps offset some of your bills, because going racing is expensive. Even just getting there is expensive. You've got tow fees, you've got the gate fee to even just get in, you've got gas for your truck, you got gas for your race car, you got all the consumables, brakes, pads, rotors, tires, fuel, other bits and pieces that you may break around the track. It's an expensive hobby, which is why racing has always been supported by sponsorship. And if you look back in the olden days, not that far long ago, a lot of the people that sponsored racing were the sins, as I call them. Smoking and drinking, Marlboro and Camel, and all of the alcohol companies were involved. All the smoking companies were involved. And that was really where a lot of your really classic liveries came from, was out of that genre. Also, in that same time period, it was really kind of the heyday for a lot of people that had, shall we say, girly posters on their walls. When you grew up as a young man, you probably had some posters of some really cool cars on your wall with some hot girls in it, right? Am I wrong? But those days have kind of gone away, and I think it's time to bring them back. And what way to bring them back with Pinto Race Car? You may not know where I'm going with this, but stay tuned. I promise there's a good thinking behind this. So what I want to do here is I want to bring this available for sponsorship. But I want to do this in a totally different and unique way. This is YouTube, and you guys watch my stuff. You've asked me many, many times, or a lot of you have, about buying shirts and t-shirts and hoodies and things, because merch is a big part of the game as far as how automotive YouTube funds itself and is successful. Well, I want to go one further, and I want to make this a more interactive experience. I want you to help sponsor me on my race team, which, by the way, I need a name for my race team. So if you got any ideas, drop them in the comments below. I would truly appreciate that. This is a shirt that we did a number of years ago. This is the I Support Bad Decisions shirt. And it is with my AMX, as well as a couple of other ones that we had on here, because we have two other AMXs sitting over here in the background that you probably can't see. And the idea was we were going to do a Hellcat swap or a supercharged AMC 360 swap. Well, as luck would have it, I'm actually going to plan on doing that, but I'm going to do it in my road car. I'm actually in the process of building that AMC 360 to be able to put in my road car. I have also got an AMC 325 that's sitting over there that will also go in that road car. So it's going to have a lot of things coming up in the near future with it. I don't know whether or not we'll ever move forward on either of these two projects. We're really busy at work. But what I want to do is I want to sell t-shirts to help support this thing. And I want to be able to utilize the revenue that we do from that to fund my racing program for this. And I will include something else. What I want to do is everybody who buys a shirt or a hoodie or a poster, I will put your name on my race car because it will be sponsored by you. And that's the idea. For the whole year, I want to cover this car in signatures because I want you guys to help me go racing. And I think there's enough people that are interested in that. And what I will do for you is I will utilize my connections with beautiful people. All the models and photographers that I already know, which I bet you didn't know that I knew. And I'm going to work up some stuff, some marketing materials to be able to let you buy some cool things. As I mentioned earlier, there were some girly posters on your wall when you were growing up, but how would you like to have some more modern girly posters with a Pinto race car on it? I happen to have some really, really beautiful friends in the modeling world. I happen to have some really talented photographers in the photography world. And I want to try to kind of combine all of these things, my love of automotives and my love of all of the beautiful people, to make some material that you guys could buy to be able to help me go racing. So I want to make this fun. I don't want to make it just blatantly sexy type stuff. I want to go back to, and this is probably going to date me a little bit, but the 60s, 70s, 80s style stuff where you had different supermodels or different models that posed with the race car, and they were maybe in matching outfits or they were in something slightly sexy or whatever it was, but it's still PG-13. I mean, we're not getting rowdy here. But it was a big part of the experience, like it was a fun part. It was a fun time of racing. I have very fond memories of the Marlboro race cars and the Marlboro girls whenever I would go to Indy and I would see Emerson Fittipaldi racing, and that whole experience. I miss that part of racing. I miss that thing, and I want to kind of bring some of that back. Now I realize that may not be something that everybody wants to support, and I understand if you don't want to, but I'm going to get some stuff set up so that I can do some photo shoots with my car, with a very talented photographer or two, and a very talented model or two, and we're going to create some posters, and we're going to create some shirts and maybe some hoodies for you all to be able to purchase to be able to help me fund this thing. And I want to be able to put your names on it because it's truly going to be you that funds my racing program. At least I hope so. I don't have the point where I can be doing giveaway stuff. I can't be giving away engines and transmissions, cars and that kind of thing. And I know that's a big part of the automotive YouTube thing across the brands. And I'm just not at that point yet. I'm not to that point. But I already have the race cars, so the expenses are already paid there. I already have most of the things I need. I just need a little bit of help to be able to take this thing to the next level and get myself out on track and be able to share it with you guys. And I think there's enough folks that are out there that are interested in this that might be willing to do this. So my ask to you is, does this make sense? Would you guys be interested in this if I were to offer, I don't know, maybe shirts with even a couple of different vehicles? Maybe this one, my AMX, my yellow car, my 70 Le Mans, maybe even my gray 68 that's back here that we're building that 350 HO Pontiac motor for. Would that be interesting? Would that be something you guys would like to see out of me? I'm not a big merch guy. I'll be honest. I'm not huge on that. And I am trying my very best to make this funding work on just my ad revenue from the videos. But I've also got to be realistic that this is going to be very expensive, what I'm about to dive into. And I want to utilize what racing has always been funded by. I just want to make it a little bit more personal. So let me know what you guys think. Is that something that would be an interesting option for you guys? Is it something that makes sense? What would you like to see as far as the merchandising goes? What would you like to see as far as the content type shot would you like? Do you want something that's photography, where it's the actual model in the car, or would you prefer something that's a bit more cartoony, where it's based on the model in the car, but it's, you know, kind of arted up a little bit? I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to options because I think it's going to be kind of fun. I think it's going to be kind of tongue-in-cheek and a little bit of a throwback to the way things used to be. I'm not that old, but I remember when our car culture and racing culture was a little bit different, and in my personal opinion, better than it is now. I miss the old days, and damn it, I'm going to do whatever I can to bring them back. And if it has to start out with me making girly posters to put on your walls or in your toolbox, so be it. I think it'd be a hilarious thing. I'll probably get a little campy, 80s comedy type stuff. If you think about the 80s, late 80s, or 80s through in the early or the late 70s, there's a lot of campy comedies that were with, beautiful girls and cars. I want to kind of go back to that. I want to throw it back to that kind of an era. And I think this is kind of the perfect car because, let's be honest, it's a Pinto. So it's not like it's not a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. So what do you guys think? Does that make sense to you? Obviously, there's some costs involved in this. I'm going to have to incur those costs up front as far as getting the model and photographer and shooting it, and then getting the art all done and the t-shirt design done and all that stuff, and then getting the actual materials made. So this is going to be a little bit of a process, but I can make this move forward pretty reasonably quickly if it's something that you guys are interested in, if you guys think this makes sense. I'm actually going to get ready to work on this thing this week. I've got brakes I got to finish off. I got a couple of other things I need to do. I need to get the racing seat swapped out. I've got a couple of other things to do because Bob is still not back from Florida. He's still down there getting his tan on, letting his gold chain hang out. But as soon as Bob is back, I will be back on working on the Pontiac motor for that one and my other 1971 Pontiac that's up front. But I need to be prepared for racing season because it's just around the corner, guys. We need to get rocking and rolling. So let me know what you think. Are you interested? Does this make sense to you? Livery-wise, I think leave it the way it is because it's already kind of earned that, but maybe just kind of repaint it or touch it up a little bit, pull some of the old stickers off, utilize your guys' names to help sponsorship, and I go out and go race and do some fun stuff, and I'll take you guys along with me, obviously. So let me know what you think. I appreciate it. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin, by the way, my own little personal corner of the YouTube internets where I work on some of my own stuff and I have a lot of automotive adventures. Obviously do a lot of talking as well. So if you could put up with me and my big bearded self and all the things that I do, click on the subscribe button. It'd be great to see you around for another video. If you are interested, please put some comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you want to see from me and my different vehicles, and I can arrange something to make it happen if there's enough people that are interested in this. Otherwise, I'll just figure out something else to do. So click on the like button. You already made it this far, right? I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.